Hello everyone, this is East Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Been a while since we've done some commentary on something, but once again, it's because we are summoning today. Not on this banner, we haven't gotten anything too notable from this banner, but it's this banner. We are hard sniping colorless, or bust pretty much. Our second priority is blue just because we have neither unit and they're probably going to be useful still, and then green followed by red. So the main goal here is Duo Askr, but chances are, mostly because of just how summoning works, chances are we're going to get quite a few copies of Harmonized Adult Tiki as well, so we're probably just going to end up trying to plus 10 both of them. As you can see, we have 2,269 orbs, which honestly, for these kind of banners, gives us okay odds to plus 10. But once you take into account the fact that, for example, we have chain challenges left to do, and we haven't even done the new story yet, and there's still quests for orbs, and of course the banner's still out for a bit, we actually have closer to, I want to say, 2,400 or even more. I don't have an exact count, but let's be real, no one's really counting here. So this is of course going to be a two-part video, because if we're summoning with this many orbs, even if we skip animations, it's going to take forever. So there's not much to it except to get started here. And we're not going to do first circle, summon the whole circle memes. We're just going ham on summoning. Getting Patty's to start is cool because she's a new unit. And Dorothy, I don't think we have Dorothy, so great start for collection purposes so far. I did also open up 200 slots for summoning, so we're probably going to stop when we have to clear our barracks is basically the idea. At the very most, that'll take about 1,000 orbs, which will put us around the halfway mark, but let's talk about why I think this is a useless investment. So, as you might know, if you've been watching for a bit, the original plan was we were going to plus 10 dual crowns. I was like, you got to change fate, so at least he's going to have that going for him, and with Destiny's Bow, he has some cool special acceleration memes for himself and allies, so surely that can't age poorly, right? Well, technically it hasn't. To change fate's never really going to age poorly, unless you're Duo Crom who doesn't have access to change fate 2. Just the change fate 2 combined with Rengreaser's Refine is incredibly nice. So the isolation effect actually does something other than give you isolate, prevent you from using your assist or having other units use their assist on you. But anyways, the problem is, of course, is combat. He still can nuke stuff nowadays, but he definitely cannot handle the top of the line meta tanks. Heck, he also can't handle the top of the line meta nukes, but we don't worry about that. The problem is his combat is just lacking his tech going forward, especially unless we get some cool tools for red bow infantry specifically, then I don't think we're gonna see much there. But at the end of the day, his duo skill is cool to a grand strategy. Of course, when the first counter to grand strategy memes came out, people were like, oh man, this is going to absolutely obliterate the viability of Legendary Male Robin. But here we are. He's still running around just because it's not readily available. That's really what it comes down to. So, there's that. With all that ranting aside, now we have Duo Askr. Compared to Duo Crom, he has special acceleration support memes via open domain, which is pretty cool. And speaking of which, we get our first copy I also have absolutely no idea what IV we want to run on him. Obviously, if we're going to plus 10 him, I'm probably going to spend one of my florets to ascend the trait as well, because why the heck not? But plus res is not terrible, obviously minus attack. I'm gonna be real, it doesn't really matter. Most of his damage output, as we'll talk about later, is from specials, and that's not a good thing in this meta, because he's just so slow. But open domain is just super powerful in general. And the big thing about this is because I'm still a huge spammer of Legendary Chrom, this pairs incredibly well with Legendary Chrom because it helps him accelerate his special, and he also gets more stats from Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields, basically twice. Once from the actual effects of those statuses, and then again from Ren Greether's Refine. Every bonus gives him an extra +2 to all stats. So that with, if we want to go, what we've been doing is pairing him with the almighty meme support nowadays, Brave Male Robin, then yeah, he's going to be packing a lot of stats. And that's why Legendary Chrom is pretty much the only unit on our team that's pretty capable of nuking Brave Female Corn off the world, even if you give her all the damage reduction things running, like Armored Flow is the only one that really works in most instances. There's a couple other ones, but yeah, Legendary Chrom is definitely still kicking around. His issue is, of course, proccing his special. He doesn't have any built-in special acceleration himself, so having options like Brave Male Robin's Rally Spectrum shenanigans is definitely nice, gotta say. But yeah, we have Duo Askr with that. As a tank, he's okay, of course. The main issue is he only has damage reduction. That's basically flat. I call it flat damage reduction nowadays. I don't know what to call it. It's just instead of percent base, it's just a fixed number. In this case, it's a variable based off of 20% of Duo Askr's defense during combat, but which is pretty decent. You can definitely stack up some pretty high defense and res on him pretty easily, which is why he can tank reasonably well. Of course, having Resonant Shields on himself means folks will need to have a guaranteed follow-up attack or no follow-up to double, neither of which are not uncommon nowadays. You pretty much see that everywhere now. So he definitely gets doubled a lot, and because his base HP isn't the best thing in the world, yeah, you're going to have that issue where, unfortunately, you're just not gonna be able to tank 2 attacks unless you get some healing during combat. Just have defense res finish, for example. So, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, his combat potential is very low. He doesn't have any dealt damage based off his defense. That'd be cool for some extra damage output. When he eventually gets a refine way far out from now, then he might get something similar to Brave Dimitri, in that he might get percent base damage reduction based off of defense or res. I don't know what they're gonna do. And then maybe some dealt damage based off of defense, but yeah, he's definitely gonna struggle in combat for ages to come. I don't expect, if we do +10 Duo Askr, he's gonna be doing well in combat. He's mostly being there as a support bot and a score bot. Pretty much it. And here we got the ultimate perfect Bane on Harmonized Adult Tiki, but we got first copy, that's cool. I don't know what percentage we want to do full circles on. We'll call it maybe around 8% or whatever the actual proper percent is, I don't know. We will see. We're in here for the long haul, of course. We're actually doing pretty decently in terms of overall rates for our colorist focus 5 stars. It's not gonna probably stay that way, but you know, you can always hope. You can always hope. Yeah, overall Duo Askr, we're pretty much just building as a score bot and support bot with specials, because I like spamming specials on defense now. As you might have seen in some replays, we like spamming out specials that are pretty reasonably reliable. I also like to still put in memes in my defenses. I don't know if anyone noticed that it's kind of over. You don't think about it too much, but Rally Spectrum, it only gives you -1 cooldown. Special acceleration if before that first attack if you have a Brave Weapon effect. So for example, when I'm running Brave Mail Robin on my Anima defense team, it's generally better for him to... It is still technically better for him to get the -1 and then attack twice with the Brave effect, but it's kind of hilarious how sometimes it can screw over specials, like with Legendary Crom. If he's up against a guard unit and he's at 2 cooldown Deadeye, the Rally Spectrum brings it down to 1, so he has to attack. He gets to attack twice. But if he's up against guard, he can't proc Deadeye. But if he does proc Deadeye, it's on the second hit, and most units can't survive that. Especially Brave female Foreign, so there's that. Got another Duo Askr pretty early, that's cool. But again, we all know, when you're in it here for the long haul, it's all about finishing and getting that 11th copy. As we've seen in our many past mass summoning sessions. That's just how it is, but we're doing pretty solid so far, I can't complain, and we've already gone past Spark's status. It's time to go, Spark! Yeah! Yeah. Fade pass moment. Yeah, we're... Yeah. If you notice there, yeah, it says we're in Turkey. I'm not actually in Turkey right now. VPN moment. To save money. 10 out of 10. But yeah. At the end of the day, it's pretty much 5+10 Duo Askr long term. It's gonna be a meh investment. I really ideally would like to just keep waiting for the next newest greatest duo hero, who I think is going to age very nicely. But I think honestly, other than combat, Duo Askr supports age pretty decently. There is that big drawback that people definitely overlook, that open domain requires that the allies have to be from a different their title. Wait, I don't understand open domain, I guess. I read the description, but he has to... From my old understanding, I don't know if it's correct. It only works for allies that are from distinct titles, aka not heroes. OC characters, which can be a big deal, especially since some of the OC characters would definitely like the support, but, you know, it's whatever. It works on everyone else. And I do use a few heroes OCs as main units just because I +10 them, like TNE or Lumeria, for example, but I don't think it's gonna matter that for Lith, I guess, but I don't really use Lith, to be honest. I'm just using him this week on defense because he's bonus, just to see if he'll do anything. His remix certainly did something, that's for sure. He's actually at least more viable than he used to be, but still lacking. Third Dorothea the summoning session, I think. From 0 to 3 is road to +10 Kappa. But now we've... perfect timing. I was like, we've been talking about Duo Askr this whole time. Let's talk about why Harmonized Adult Tiki is going to be a terrible investment for us. It primarily comes down to what they have going for them. They don't debuff a lot of stats, and in this meta where effective damage is spammed out everywhere, or just having massive attack stats and multi, multi-attack shenanigans with specials involved. You generally, in this meta, want to be debuffing foes during combat rather than buffing your own stats. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's fine. She currently is a soft block against some teams. Like, they just don't have the damage output to break through and not die to armored flow counters. If, of course, you can actually counter. It's a whole other story. Yeah, the big issue is, yeah, she has that double stack of damage reduction, which is cool, but we have this thing called damage reduction piercing. Oh, but she has the, what the heck, it's the scowl effect. Oh, but they have a brave weapon to rocket on the second attack, and they have some sort of null guard. Oh, but we have armored flow. That only works if it's pre-charge. The special is pre-charge. So for reliability purposes, you would really have a huge issue there. She's pretty much, so basically she's a glorified modern stat stick with some effects tacked on to make her less of a stat stick, but still is a stat stick at the end of the day. So yeah, not gonna last long term combat wise and tanking wise, but for now, serviceable. Like, when I encounter her in Ether Raid's offense, or on defense, it doesn't matter. Either way, she still obliterates my options for the most part. If she's on defense, typically I can't one-round KO her. Especially if they have Fallen Maria support. There's basically no way I'm picking up the one-round KO there. So there's that. You definitely can pick bread and kills with Armored Flow, but it's not reliable. You definitely, like, for example, Air can face tank because it's Air. Air remix for the win. Mystic Boost. I should probably get Mystic Boost 4 on my Air, but why would I ever do that? There is the drawback of being able to counter healers or whatnot, for example. So I can't stall out a healer with Air, but then at that point I would just come up with a different strategy. I don't think the problem is that I can't stall. Because I could just use, I don't know, I guess I technically could use Milla, because with Milla's Churn Wheel 2 or whatever it's called, she can inflict guard, but then there's healers that don't care about guard as much, so there's that. Not sure. We're not getting lucky here, getting consistent streams with Call Us Orbs, but that's fine. That's gotcha for you. We're doing alright on pace because, what is it? We're about, I want to say, a bit over 250 orbs in, and we have 4 focus 5 stars? 5? I've already lost count. I don't know how. I want to say 4, which is very solid for our purposes. At this rate, we can save so many orbs for the next duo hero. Trademark. Honestly though, if once we do plus 10 Duo Askr or Harmonized Adult Tiki, they both score the same at absolute max, because Harmonized Adult Tiki has effectively, for scoring, 5 less BST. Or 1 BST been lower than Duo Askr. Duo Askr's at 200 and Harmonized Adult Tiki is at 195. But because of the distant counter Dragon Seal, didn't bump up 1 score bin, so it evens out. Clearly our Wi-Fi has been struggling as well. Feels bad, man. But yeah, overall, Harmonized Adult Tiki, I don't feel he's gonna age too well. I guess on the flip side, we can meme and have a plus 10 Harmonized hero for Resonant Battles, which is completely useless to us because we don't really try too hard in Resonant Battles. I guess it'll just be a fun meme of trying to make an armored hero work in Resonant Battles for our clears. We're still going for, we're not going for the like 3-turn or 4-turn full clears anymore, but we are still going for the annihilate all the guardians and daggers. without using any of the items, which is fun, but no dancers, but it's whatever at this point. It's not hard, especially with the units we have available and the mobility options now available. But it's just a fun side challenge that we do every week. It takes a few minutes. So is it really a challenge? I don't know. You ask me. But overall, that's my thoughts on the two units. Of course, for their duo skills and summoner duels, Duo Askr's duo skills insanely strong. Because if you want to charge up some really strong specials, that gives you a reliable way to enable them. And of course you can pick when it goes off, which is cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of just a more of a, I don't know what the word is, commodity thing. Most of the time, it's not really going to help us out too much more. I don't actually even remember what Harmonized Adult Tiki's Harmonized skill is. I should probably look at that right now. We've been getting so many variants recently. This is not... there's no bias here. That was literally, what was that, 3 or 4 variants in the past 2 circles or some 3 circles? I can't even remember anymore. Okay, what's her Harmonized skill? Okay, neutralizing foes' bonuses during combat is helpful. Resonant Shield is kind of whatever. It is nice that it prevents fall attacks if the enemy doesn't have any no follow-up shenanigans or whatnot. But it's like she already comes with it in this, but I guess she has to be above 40% HP. It's very jank. I don't know how to feel about Resonant Shields, not gonna lie. I said green, right? Yeah. Another Echidna for drive attack. I should probably build an Echidna just for the heck of it. We pretty much build units for the heck of it because our feather count keeps reaching close to the max. 999,999, and then we're like, what should we build now? Who should we build now? No idea. I should probably just build healers to +10 just for the heck of it. It's not a great investment because most of the time I'm just using the healers to, well, heal. Because combat-wise, you would have to chuck on Poetic Justice or, I don't know. I'm not as a fan of the dazzling skills, although the most recent one that I can't remember the name of has Kanto, which is cool. I prefer that over the teleportation of Dazzling Shift, I think. But the mobility from Dazzling Shift is perfectly fine. But another issue with summoning for so long and having this dorpy commentary is that, of course, I mean, I actually do have a near infinite amount of things to talk about, but it's more about making it a slightly more cohesive experience than just a bunch of random topics jumbled together. At this point, if we do pick up a 5-star instead of Virians, this is not, there's no bias here. We have straight up been pulling Virians. There we go. I was gonna say we're gonna summon the whole circle just for the fun of it. But now that I'm seeing that the orb is red, the upside is negligible, I think we're gonna save our 3 orbs. I don't... Well, let's see what we could get. I didn't even pay attention to the red focus heroes here, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, and yeah, no. I guess Attack Speed Clash 3 would be cool, but are we really going to spend 3 orbs for an ideal chance at not even fodder, because I haven't even pulled a single copy of Pan yet, so New Year's Pan, so no. Not happening. No. Speaking of red orbs. What a troll. Yeah, I guess, of course, the newest thing in the house is attuned heroes with their attuned skills. All I gotta say is I don't like the execution. On paper, having attuned skills only equipable, assuming you don't have any PRFs, or whatever preferred skills or unique skills or whatever the heck you want to call them. The skills that only that unit can use, or for dancers that type of unit, but they allow dance and sing, so that totally makes sense. The thing about them is they're really only they're trying to make units that don't have those unique skills still, a number of variants, still viable for usage. So basically they have the ability to have more effects. And that's the only real way you can make a generic unit usable, is by constantly giving them more options without giving those options to all the other units. Because if all the other units can use it, then what's the point of using this unit with fewer stats or fewer effects or whatnot? Unless they're like your favorite unit, then by all means, we're still goofballing with Nino. And it's a great time seeing what silly shenanigans we can pull. Like baiting like baiting Legend or Brave Seliph with Nino and coming out alive and one round KOing back, because what's Miracle? We're just faster and do so much damage, we can one round KO, it's fun. Or, you know, face taking Legendary Hinoka, because why not? Oh, of course we can't counter because we don't have Null C Disrupts against the weapon suggestion triangle, but you know, it's still funny. Yeah, Nino is fine, just her damage output is not great against damage reduction because I do have Magic Null follow-up on her from that Brave Soul Arm we pulled a long while back. Problem is I want to still run Vantage. I'm running Vantage with Flare. It's working out okay, I would say. Of course, the damage output from Flare is absolutely amazing, super helpful. Can't deny that for sure. It's not as high as I would like sometimes, but that's just the nature of how the special scales for damage. But yeah, I still like Vantage, and having that healing potential from Flare has been really useful. A lot of times it will kick her out of Vantage range, but a lot of matchups where that happens, Nino's already not one-shouting on the counter anyway, she needs 2 attacks. So it's better for us to just have more HP most of the time. And sometimes we've super Galaxy Brained and set it up so that Flare heals Nino out of Vantage range so that she doesn't attack the enemy unit to charge up their special before they attack Nino. There's some real meme shenanigans that can go on, but yeah. Daily damage calcs for the win. Air was really packing a punch while she was bonus though with the extra stats. Able to live basically stuff that she shouldn't be living, because welcome to plus 10 HP, which not only grants her plus 10 HP, but because of her refine, it gives her plus 2 attack. Wait. Yeah, plus 2 attack and res, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're stacking up all the stats, it makes all the difference. Especially when we're going budget memes and dank memes, single team, no escape ladder, no safety fence, none of that nonsense. Who needs that? Because yeah, we had our best showing ever in Ether Raids last season. That was insane. Of course our defense was lacking. I made it intentionally meme, but I wasn't expecting to do so well on offense. I think that's why. So once I started doing well on offense, I was like, maybe I should have made the defense a little better. Because I did things like intentionally leave that space on the far right of the map for someone like Brave Golvig to teleport in and attack. And of course, because Brave Golvig has Gale Force memes, yeah, that also happened. So, we got a quad here, but of course, we don't really use them. Maybe we could, but not with minus attack, not today, no. At least it doesn't break our pity rate, right? Still trucking along. I guess we'll go blue here. Well, we do get Duo Shamir. Definitely aged poorly very quickly. Still fine. The Discord and Panic shenanigans are great. Minus attack. Let's use minus attack with Deadeye, everyone, which scales, doubles your damage dealt. Yeah. If we really care about that, we can casually pull another one while we're summoning in this mass session, Kappa. It's possible, but I'm not gonna complain. It's another 5-star I could use in Arena Assaults to win regardless. I'm not gonna really complain that, oh, they're minus attack. We still haven't really used trait fruits at all, and we still don't have a lot. Just because of how few trait fruits we can get. Like, let's check right now, just because why not? Yeah, we're at 2,476, which considering when trait fruits were released, yeah, that's not a lot. And keep in mind, again, we haven't used that many. So that's almost all of the trait fruits we've accumulated. Lag. Okay. Video recording is totally going alright. Almost already half an hour in. We might have to stop the recording before before we even get to clearing our barracks, because I have the recorder set to stop recording around at the hour mark or so. Just because if we're recording that long, the video upload is gonna take forever. You know what I'm supposed to be doing actually? Recording in 1080p 60 FPS, because clearly we need to watch the game in 60 frames per second. Look at all these animations that need to be super crisp and clear. Anyways, the number of Virions we've picked up so far is definitely not indicative of rigged summoning. Today is Virion Day. Maybe in part 2 we won't get as many Virions, but we will get another Duo Askr, finally. I say finally, but we're kind of cooking with our rates so far. Let's go by Obtain real quick. Just ignoring Duo Shamir. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 3 and 3 right now. And we're about a little over 500 orbs in, so I think we're doing okay, but I could be wrong on statistics. I might have computed the wrong statistics. I would say, oh, we're doing a little better now. I should be checking IVs too, huh? Plus res is fine. I don't know what we want for IVs yet. Obviously on Harmonized Adult Tiki, I think plus res is just a must, because with your weapon effects and your B skill rely on having res, you should probably try to max it out as much as you can. But I don't know about the second thing. We could go for HP for the memes, of course defense if you want to round it bulk, attack if you want to do some more damage, which honestly I don't think we're going to do attack, because in this meta, we're going to be missing kills anyways. I don't think I care about having the extra attack. The big one, though, is speed. Because I have seen some speedy Harmonized Adult Tikis. Her weapon straight up does grant plus 5 speed during combat. That's all she gets out of the kit. But I mean, you're not going to be so fast, the ultimate speedsters in the meta aren't going to double you, but you are going to troll the middle ground units who are like, oh, I have 60, 70 something speed, and you have Tiki over here memeing around that same speed tier. If you want to try that hard. There's that. Duo Askr, most definitely, of course, defense. You gotta max out as much defense as you can get. And then, I don't know after that. Same dealio. I don't think we're gonna go speed on him. It's just too low of a base speed. We can meme it up to like 60 or maybe even 70 plus, but that's for memeing purposes. It's not for general viability purposes. I don't think we're gonna go that route. There's that. But anyways, back to talking about attuned heroes and skills. So yeah, making the attuned skills, basically you can't run them with PRFs, perps, whatever you want to call them. It's fine. It's just, for example, having the teleportation memes would be nice. Of course we get another duo here. Why not? Plus attack, yeah, sure. Sure, why not? What the heck. Seems Faye gotcha, man. But, yeah. It's fine. The new attuned skills themselves, of course, having Death Blow 2 is not very riveting off of Triandra, but Peony's teleportation, having that, I think, attack field buff, is solid. The teleportation is, of course, where it's at. We don't really care too much about the visible buffs unless you're some particular units, but I don't think we're in that category. And of course, they're similar to rearmed heroes in that they can get that extra... They call them elite inheritance. I guess they did have to name it something so that... I was memeing with folks in various discords, about every time I'm trying to summon for a specific unit to plus 10, I'm always going to spam out copies of the other one first. And this summoning session is no different. Gosh darn it. It's fine. We're on the conquest to basically plus 10 on both, so if we plus 10 Harmonized Tiki first, it's not really a loss for us, because that way, once we plus 10 Duo Askr, we can just stop. And any extra copies we do get of Harmonized Adult Tiki, she has some fodder, you know, there's bar save, there's the big one's Armored Flow nowadays, but yeah, she has something, so. This is such a meme. Who knows, we might end up getting 10th percentile rates on plus 10ing Harmonized Adult Tiki. We never know. I don't even know how many copies we're at right now because we're not streaming. My various setups for streaming have all gone potato. None of them are viable anymore. It feels bad, man. It's just too laggy. Unfortunate. That's the reason why we record videos now. But let's quickly go look at the various new skills. Like Flow Refresh 4 is fine, the damage reduction is cool. That's cool enough. Harrowing Dream is fine, the Sabotage is always cool, Guard's always cool. Flower of Tribute is of course incredibly broken for memes. Just imagine a world where you just have Triandras all running, a whole line of Triandras, and then you of course have Flared Sparrow. Yeah, it's fun. Cross Spur Speed's kind of whatever. Rock Slide Dance is cool for the dodge, but it's kind of whatever. Tender Dream is definitely incredibly strong for the Kanto support. Then Flower of Karen is, well, okay, it helps her in combat. I feel like the biggest disappointment is the Arcane Green Tome. Nino's not really going to benefit from this. Unless she wants to spam out flares, which again, that's not unique to her. None of the things we're doing with Nino are unique to her anyways, except for her stat line, I guess, but yeah. Attack Res Poi is cool and all, but we don't really care about that banner. The fact that the Attune heroes aren't even going to be added to the main pool, similar to rearmed heroes, is definitely salt to the wound. It's just like, you have to specifically pull for these specific units at specific times for specific skills. Yeah, no, we are on a hot streak right now, can't complain. And we're almost, what is that, 600 orbs in? We are doing alright. If we can save a lot of orbs, that would be a win, but, you know. Like I mentioned earlier, it's all about how you finish. Doesn't matter if you get the first 10 copies and 50 orbs, aka you just kept summoning, single summoning orbs and getting them. If it takes you 2,000 orbs to get the last copy, yeah, it's gonna even out a little there on your average. But statistically, taking 2,000 orbs to get the last one is very improbable. Speaking of improbable, we got our first Fae, and she's even plus attack. Not that it really matters, but I guess that'll help an arena assault, I guess, for trying to one-shot some frail flyers like Legendary Alencia. Holy cow, we can just start talking about Legendary Alencia and how mean the mobility is. Yeah, mobility is something, specifically because she can teleport to a tile 2 spaces within an ally, 2 spaces of her. That's what makes the mobility insane. There are arena matchups now. We're back to the old days where if you hit end turn 1, you may just end up losing a unit because the enemy team can just cross the entire map in one turn. Seems dorp, man. Seems really dorp. I don't know how to feel about that. As a combat unit herself, of course, she lacks long-term damage output. It really is just stat sticking with special attached to it, which, as we know from the history of Fae, is not going to last too long. She had a lot of dealt damage based off of speed or something we might be cooking, but yeah, she has to contend against damage reduction, and of course, Hulk's debuffing her attack, which is a huge deal because her gimmick is quadding. So debuffing her attack by 16 points for her, which is pretty common. 12 is pretty common nowadays, but 16 or more is definitely showing up more often. Yeah, it's gonna really hurt her a ton, even though her base stats are pretty solid. Okay, we gotta check. How many are we up to now? I think we just sort it by this is easier, maybe. So we're already up to 7. 7 and 5. Holy cow. I'm gonna be real. That's not supposed to be a thing. But we are luck sacking. For reference, I think the average is around close to 2,000 orbs or something like that. Maybe a little less for plus 10ing a specific focus unit here. So we're not looking at specifically just getting either 2 to plus 10. It's getting one of them specifically. In this case, we're going for Duo Askr to plus 10. At the rate we're going, though, at 5 Duo Askers already, because we've also been luck sacking a bit, pulling them at 6%. Yeah, we're on a pretty decent track so far, but hopefully that keeps going because we're gonna need it. Unless if we finish terribly at the end, then rip our orbs. Hopefully we won't need to actually do chain challenges and a bunch of other things to scrape up orbs here and there, but we do have a reasonable amount of orbs hiding out in the back that I just do not have the time to farm them up. With all the recurring shenanigans that go on, it's just I cannot be bothered to just sit down and do some chain challenges because I don't feel like figuring out how to engineer an auto battle team that can carry me through chain challenges on lunatic difficulty, especially with some specific maps where it's like defend for this many turns or nuke all of the enemies in 4 turns. Cough cough, that one story map. Or was it story or paralog? Not sure. But I guess at least Virion is hiding from us now. That's a win. Maybe? I guess he has Astra, but we have plenty of Virions. I don't think I don't think we're gonna be complaining about, oh, we don't have any extra fodder. Yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna be a thing. Not today. Yeah, Tune Heroes, it's fine. Rearm Sonya, fine. There's not really much left to say about them. They're gonna be units of all time. You can't really ever complain about picking up a copy of a Toon Triandra or Peony because they're dancers, and pretty sure dancers are the only archetype that can't age poorly in a player's hands unless we get into a meta. There used to be an old meme defense where people would just put a giant line of Millas. So it's just isolation everywhere. No assists for you. Basically, Screw Dancers Simulator. Yeah, that was certainly an interesting type of defense. And of course, because you're spamming that many Millas, you could also put up a raid boss unit to get a ton of defense and HP. But yeah, those days are long gone. I still occasionally, like once every few seasons, I'll run into a raid boss defense. It really is super polarizing. Either you win or you don't. You just straight up outmatched, or you just absolutely blow the defense out of the water. That's just the nature of that type of defense. But here we are. I can't remember. We did start out with 2.2k, right? I'm saying we're getting closer to that 1,000 orb mark. We're definitely doing pretty solid going into the 1,000 orb mark. And we're also getting close to that hour mark. I'm a little worried that it's going to start recording a little earlier than an hour, but oh no, Virian's back. We're not going to worry about that too much. But now, let's go ahead and talk about our plans after summoning on this banner. So of course, the big notable thing is we're going to have a huge score increase. We're going to have to keep burning blessings and changing blessings around, whatnot, for various game modes. I don't think we really care because we built up our stockpile of blessings. The ones that are more relevant are the, of course, legendary blessings, because those are much less common. The Ether Raids blessings, we're not running out, but these guys we definitely can run out if we, for example, switch every week, like 2 units every season. Yeah, that's going to run out very quickly because we don't get that many overalls, so that is certainly a thing. What is also certainly a thing is getting to 8.5% and precariously summoning non-colorless orbs. Feels spooks, man. Well, yeah, we are probably just gonna get absolutely bonkers rates for plus 10 Harmonized Adult Tiki at this rate. What is this? What is this? I'll summon the green orb for shizzles and giggles. But, yeah, I expect to get nothing out of it. I just want a reasonable 3 and 4 star pool unit if we're not going to get... Okay, we got Sue. That's actually a win. Budget 300 SPC slot that no one really uses in 2023, but we don't care about that. She's plus speed, which is useful with quick mulligan, but yeah. Specifically, she would help out in matchups against, like, Duo Leg Yarn. Duo Leg Yarn's running Svalin Shield. I feel like Sue would have some issues even just doing damage. Doing enough damage, I should say. It's a 1-round KO. Really needs that effective damage. Double Lisa, sure. I still need the plus 10er for the heck of it. I have 2 5-star copies already ready to go. I just haven't gotten around to actually merging. I think I've even promoted some manuals to 5 stars already. I just haven't done it yet. And we are at 943,000. So that is certainly a thing. But yeah, definitely a good choice for us to speedrun through these animations, I gotta say. I'm also, this is way too late into the video. If you're watching this far, what the heck are you doing? But, I think the audio balance is just forever going to be off now. The app that we use to record keeps going through some updates, and every time it just makes it even harder for me to balance the audio. Because even as is, I mentioned it way back when in, I think, a singular episode. If you can find it, you're a legend, because why are you watching all of my videos back to try and find it? But I have it set so the game audio is at half volume, and that the microphone is at double volume, and the game is still louder than me, even though I'm talking pretty close to the mic. I guess I could be going even closer, but I don't want to just have my phone right next to my mouth. Just playing the game like that. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Not today. We gotta be getting close to the clear your barracks levels of summoning, right? So, actually no, we're pretty far away because we're also summoning more than one Bella's orb. So, we are technically saving summons for orbs. Okay. There we go. Discord pinging. Welcome to the video. We're not editing that out because there's no way I'm re-rendering this much footage. I forgot to put do not disturb on, that's why. Let me go put that up real quick. Alright, I don't know why I didn't notice that till now. Maybe I turned it off while setting up the recording or something. I don't know. I feel like we've been getting a few... Is it Azuma? Azama? It's probably not Azama, let's put it that way. I think when I first saw him, that's what I thought, but yeah, no. It's just like Lachesis, Lachesis, I don't know. Pronouncing unit names in this game is absolute misery for me when you get to the more niche names. And by niche names, I mean the ones that have an arbitrarily large number of ways to possibly pronounce because English. Yeah, other than that, let's finally get back to the tangent I was talking about. Future plans after plus 10ing Duo Askr and Harmonized Adult Tiki. I was talking about how they're going to increase my score and then the blessings things and whatnot. But yeah, they're going to straight up increase my scoring by up to like 3 full entire scoring bins. They each, compared to my current scoring units, I believe they each score over 1 full scoring bin better. So, that is certainly a thing. And speaking of certainly a thing, we have made it to the very end of the shenanigans. I've also